everybody, Doug here, and today we were going to be installing the KFI Winch Mount kit onto this 2003 Polaris Trailblazer 250 two-stroke. Now this kit will work on Polaris Scramblers, any sort of four-stroke, and the liquid-cooled models, as long as it has this style front bumper. Now once you receive your kit, this is what it will consist of. You'll have the actual mount plate. It will come with a fair lead mount or a winch mount, whatever you prefer. And it will come with all the necessary hardware to mount. You'll have 2 U-bolts, 2 1/4-inch bolts, and all of the nuts and washers that you will need. To install it, all you're going to need is a couple of wrenches. You'll need at least 1 1/2-inch wrench. I have a ratcheting wrench here. You will need 2 7/16 wrenches and a single 3/8 wrench. Now, the 3/8 wrench will also depend on what style bumper you have. The manual that KFI sends out says that some models will come riveted here, but this model happens to have a nut and bolt on it. So you will need the 3/8 wrench from this side and the 7/16 on the other side. To get started, start by removing these 2 bolts located on the front of your bumper. Now, if you have rivets here, you will need a drill and drill out the head of the rivets, or a grinder of some sort. However, a grinder may damage the plastic of the skid plate. Once you remove either the nuts or the rivets, or the bolts or the rivets rather, you can just discard these or throw them in a parts bin somewhere, as the kit comes with longer bolts to accommodate for the mount plate. Now that you have the bolts out of the skid plate, take your mount and stick it up under the nose of the four-wheeler underneath the plastics, and it will have to stick on the outside of your bumper. So to start, take your U-bolts, stick them through the back, put on your washers, and your nylon lock nuts. Once those are on, take your 1/4-inch bolts that were supplied with the kit, and this is optional, however I would recommend it. Get an extra set of 1/4-inch washers and put one on the outside. You may have to twist them through the plastic as the hole is slightly smaller. Start them through. Now on the opposite side, apply your washer and the smaller 1/4-inch nylon lock nuts. Something else you could also do here instead is put in carriage bolts. They would look a little bit nicer, be smooth on the front, and you would only need a single wrench. So to start off, tighten up these bottom bolts here first. If you need to wiggle the plate around, make sure that it's flush up against the frame, not a big gap on the underside along this edge. But let it sit about natural on the front of the bumper, and then tighten it up. Make sure they're nice and snug. That way there's no flex between the bumper and the plate. Once you have those on, you can tighten up your U-bolts. Start with one side, and once it starts getting tight, switch to the other side. That way you equally tighten down the U-bolt. Once everything is on, make sure that everything's nice and tight. The nylocks will prevent anything from backing off. However, after your first winching, I would suggest going back over everything, making sure everything's nice and tight. Or if you do a rough ride or something over some hard terrain, double check these before you try winching anything. But other than that, you're all set to go. You don't have to apply the fair lead plate just yet. Once you put your winch on, then you can do it. It has all these holes here so you can bolt down the plate And once you do that, you're good to go. If you have any questions or comments about this, drop a comment down below and I'll try to get to it as fast as I can. If you like the video, please like it.